Welcome to another episode of Software Explorations, Concepts and Overviews, hosted by yours truly, Tech Coach Ralph, where we are engineered to win. In today's episode of Software Explorations, we are going to do an introduction to DevOps. We're going to start diving into that to figure out what exactly it is, why is it so important, and why is it that I'm going over it? Well, the reason that I'm going over it is because on Sundays, Software Explorations, we have moved on from Terraform into DevOps, into the massive landscape of DevOps. So we started this past Sunday. We're going to continue this coming Sunday and beyond so that we can get a better understanding of DevOps. But I wanted to start sharing with you now what is DevOps, why it's important, why we should get familiar with it, because it is taking over and many people are going to be they have to be involved or they are going to be left behind. But before we go any further, please do me a big favor. If you haven't done so already, like the video, share the video, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification bell so you can know every single time that we drop new content and go live. And why do you want to do that? Because we are releasing so much content. We go live so many times, exploring different things, trying different things out. So I want you to be aware and tune in and share with somebody who they might not even know that they're interested in tech, but we make it fun here. We are in it to win it. And one more thing. If you would like to see some agile work, such as my team's sprint review, go over to techcoachralph.dev and you can sign up for free and you get access to all of our sprint reviews that I will be uploading every other week as our sprints run for 2 weeks. So you get to see that. And if you upgrade, you get to see the whole Scrum Night, and you even have the opportunity to work one-on-one with me inside of our coaching group, and we can go from there. All right. So definitely check that out. techcoachralph.dev. You don't want to miss it. If you want coaching, the spots are starting to fill up. So, people are getting hired. People need some coaching. People need some career direction. So if you're looking for coaching, you better get it while the spots are available, because once they are gone, they are gone. All right. But with that being said, let's jump into our software explorations for our introduction to DevOps. All right. So intro to DevOps. What exactly is DevOps? We're going to have an overview and some key concepts. And if you see this little diagram here, we have QA, we have the development, we have operations, and once it comes together, we have DevOps. So let's jump into it right now. So what is our agenda for today? So we are going to be talking about what is DevOps, kind of defining it, why DevOps is important, what are some key principles of DevOps, DevOps practices and tools, the DevOps culture, and what are exactly the benefits of using DevOps, some challenges and considerations to take to take on, like what to expect, and some case studies and examples. So without further ado, let's jump into it. So what exactly is DevOps? So DevOps is short for development and operations. It's a software development practice that combines people, processes, and technology to improve software delivery. Right. So if we think about it, DevOps is just agile because it is the continuation of the agile methodology. All right. So DevOps encourages collaboration between development and operation teams, such as developers and IT operations, throughout the product lifecycle. The goal is to increase the speed and quality of software deployment and to better respond to customer needs. So the same way with when we do the agile methodology to get the product in front of the client faster, the MVP, the minimum viable product. The same way DevOps is trying to increase the quality and the speed of getting the software to the client so we can get feedback faster and we can make better decisions at an earlier pace, which is going to ultimately cost us a lot less and have happier customers. All right, so let's keep going. So this is just a little diagram of how DevOps flows. So you have, so you plan what you're going to do, then you code it, then you build it, then you test it. Testing passes, then you release it, you deploy it. you operate it, you monitor it, and then the whole cycle goes over and over and over and over again. And that's why we always have work to do, because we are always picking up off the momentum and feedback of our customers to continue to deliver amazing software for them. All right, let's keep going. But why DevOps? Why should we fall into DevOps? So it definitely has a faster software delivery, right? So the idea in Agile is to continuously deliver value to our customers, to our clients. And we could code very, very fast, but if the deployment is a hassle and a burden and takes some time, then we're going to slow down how fast we actually deliver. And now as engineers, we're developing all this software, but we can't get in front of the customer. So DevOps came around and was like, all right, how can we streamline your delivery process? What can we put in place? All right. And then it has improved quality because as part of DevOps, you are testing all the time. And that's why I always say manual testing is dead. Manual testing, it's you still have to do it, but it should lead to a greater area, which is automation, because the automation testing should be able to plug in to your DevOps process, into your deployment pipeline. All right. It reduces costs because it automates a lot of the steps, and a lot of mistakes are removed so that we do not have these flaws that is going to cost the company hundreds of thousands of dollars. It also encourages better collaboration because the QA is working very closely with the software engineers, and the QA and the software engineers is working very, very closely with either the infrastructure team or the product operations team. It leads to more security because things are in a tight-knit area and they're not just easily circulating all around, because especially when there's less human intervention, and which leads to the last one, less manual intervention, because when we put our hands into it, we are prone to make mistakes. So if we can build a script, build a robot to take care of all of that, we get to focus on other things, and there's less manual intervention that has to be involved. All right. So what about faster software delivery, right? So the DevOps can help teams deploy code faster, which can reduce the development time from months to hours. Yes, I just said from months to hours. This can directly impact customer response and improve the overall development and functioning of an organization. So you hear back from the client a lot faster, a lot earlier. So if they don't like something right now, you can fix it right now, as opposed to going through months down the line. And when it comes down to fixing it, it is so much harder to do. Improve quality. DevOps can help detect bugs and errors early on and resolve them faster, which can improve the overall quality of the software, because we have continuous testing. Every time we merge a branch or every time we push up some code, the tests run, and we should get some immediate feedback so that we can look at what exactly is going wrong and we can get that fixed early. And the earlier you get it fixed, the cheaper it is to fix it. Next up, cost reduction. Automating routine tasks can reduce the need for manual labor and lead to cost savings. DevOps as a service providers may also offer more cost-effective solutions than building in-house infrastructure. And when I say the cost saving on manual labor, it always reminds me of a story where a company had a big book of test cases, and they were outsourcing it to a company, but the main company, they had to cut costs. So let's call this company A. They had to cut costs, right? And let's call the QA company Q. So they approach company Q and says, hey, we're cutting 50% of your budget. I need you to decide which test you need to run. So the person in charge of company Q says, hey, I don't know, which test should I run? Well, the response was the half of the test you want to make sure works. And that's why manual testing becomes an issue, because we rely too much on human intervention, and it's going to be impossible to test every single scenario. So that is why DevOps is so important, to reduce cost of manual labor. All right. Now, better collaboration. DevOps relies on collaboration between teams, and good communication can help ensure everyone is on the same page and aware of what needs to be done. This can help prevent issues further down the line. One of the biggest issues that we have in the world, but especially in tech, is communication. we try to assume what someone is going to say, or we assume people know what we're trying to say. And I think with DevOps, because we work so closely together, we have better communication. And with the agile methodology, if you're practicing like having retrospectives and things like that, you can always figure out what went wrong during a prior sprint and help fix and make account for that. So DevOps also offers more security. DevOps can help improve security. I mean, that says it itself. We are storing keys in the right place. We're not committing secrets to Git, all that type of stuff. We learn different technologies on how to implement better security measures. So all of these come with the DevOps methodology. Less manual intervention. Less manual interventions there are fewer. So less manual intervention can mean fewer chances of error, because when we get our hands on it, like I said earlier, we are prone to make mistakes. Programming a robot to do it right, we know that they should be able to do it over and over and over again. And if something goes wrong, there's a likelier chance if there's a problem than if we might have missed something here and there. So I personally like to code to have it tested for me instead of having to do it on my own all the time. Like I said, manual testing will always be around, but the manual tester is on his or her way out the door. Sorry to say that. All right, so what are some key principles of DevOps, right? So collaboration, continuous improvement, customer-centric focus, continuous integration, continuous deployment, continuous monitoring, decisions based on data. So let's talk about collaboration, right? So cross-functional teams, developers, operations, QA, and other stakeholders work together throughout the software development lifecycle, breaking down silos and fostering open communication. It also has a shared responsibility. Everyone involved in the project, from development to deployment, is accountable for the product success, encouraging team members to collaborate and support each other. Very, very important that everyone has a sense of ownership of the product. And that way, what you're deploying, you actually care about what you're doing. So you care about the success and you want to win. All right. So that is very, very important when it comes to collaboration. More collaboration, it has continuous feedback loops. Through practices like continuous integration, continuous delivery, and monitoring, DevOps enables faster identification and resolution of issues and promoting a culture of continuous improvement and collaboration. Unified tooling and automation, accessible to all team members, enabling seamless communication and transparency, and a consistent approach to software development and operations. So what about continuous improvement? Ongoing refinement, regularly assessing and refining processes, tools, and practices to enhance efficiency, reduce waste, and optimize workflows. So we're always looking for how can we be better? How can we be better? That is always our goal when we are working in Agile and Scrum and our software development team and DevOps. What is inefficient? How can we get rid of it? And how can we be better, right? That's our goal. And then learning from feedback emphasizes the importance of learning from feedback through regular retrospectives, monitoring, and metrics analysis. Teams use this feedback to identify rare areas for improvement. Teams use this feedback to identify areas for improvement, address issues proactively, and implement changes that drive better performance and collaboration over time. So what about customer-centric focus? Rapid delivery of value allows teams to deliver new features and updates and fixes quickly. This ensures that customer needs and feedback are addressed promptly, enhancing overall customer satisfaction. Continuous feedback integration. Teams can align their efforts with customer expectations, ensuring that the product evolves in a way that consistently meets or exceeds the user's need. So we're always looking for what the customer thinks. How can we make it better? It's not that we're going to implement exactly what they say, but we take all the feedback and say, okay, what could be the best feature that we can add to this product that will serve the masses? So what about continuous integration? Automated code integration involves automatically integrating and testing code changes in a shared repository multiple times a day. Consistent quality assurance, CI supports continuous testing by automatically running unit tests, integration tests, and other checks whenever code is committed. So that's what I was saying earlier. Whenever you push your code up, it should automatically trigger off a series of tests to make sure that everything is functioning as it should. Continuous deployment Automated release pipelines involve automatically deploying every code change that passes the testing phase to production without manual intervention. One thing that some people call it, they call it no-look deploys, where you can just have it to a state where the test just run, and if they pass, it automatically says, okay, we're good to deploy. The problem with that is a lot of people don't have the necessary amount of test coverage to successfully pull that off. So this is why automated testing is so important, because if you can continue to work on building tests while you just push up the automated test, so if things pass, it just, all right, cool, we're good to go, we're going to kick it off. So that's definitely something that's very, very important with the automated release pipelines, right? Faster feedback and iteration. Teams receive immediate feedback from the production environment and real users, allowing them to quickly iterate response issues and improve the product based on real world usage, leading to continuous enhancement of the software. What about continuous monitoring? Proactive issue detection, constantly tracking the performance and security and availability of applications in real time. This allows teams to detect proactively before they impact users, enabling quick responses to maintain system stability. And we also have data-driven insights. Teams can use this data to identify trends, optimize performance, and make informed decisions about future development, ensuring that the application meets evolving customer needs and operation requirements. So we're using data to make decisions on how to like if we need to scale up some servers, if we need to scale down some servers, if we need to add more memory, all these different type of things. And as we continue with this, as we continue through DevOps, very soon we're going to be talking about microservices, maybe in a week or two, because we're going to talk about Docker, then we're going to talk about microservices. So stay tuned, because this is going to get like much more in depth, all right? And all of these are related. So talking about decisions-based data. So informed decision making in DevOps, data-driven decisions are made by analyzing metrics from continuous monitoring, testing, and performance data. Optimize resource allocation by leveraging data to understand the usage patterns, performance bottlenecks, and customer behavior. DevOps teams can allocate resources more effectively, focusing efforts on areas that will have the most significant impact, thereby improving efficiency and delivering better value to customers. So this is so important, because something can be going slow because of one particular area, which will make the whole service seems like feel terrible. So we're looking for those bottlenecks. We're looking at what's slowing us down, and then we look to alleviate those issues. And that's the importance of getting that immediate feedback and continuing to monitor. So what are some DevOps practices? We have continuous integration. We have continuous delivery. We have continuous deployment, infrastructure as code, automated testing, configuration management, continuous monitoring, version control, collaboration, communication. And I'm just going to touch on each one of these very briefly, right? Because we'll probably get into a lot deeper depth with it, if that makes sense. But continuous integration. So continuous integration is when you're using a pipeline so that you can push your code through, and in that pipeline you have a defined set of steps, right? So that's similar to what Jenkins is used. So let's say you push your code to Git, and now it says, all right, once this code is built, you're going to build the code, and you're going to run a series of tests. So it would be unit tests, you'd have functional tests like API tests, you'd have UI tests. All these different tests are running, and if they pass, that means that you can go to the next step, you can merge it, whatever you want. Now, continuous delivery takes that a step further, where it says, all right, cool. Now that we have this everything passed from the continuous integration, we are going to merge that into our main branch, which now it's continuously delivering new features as you, because some people, they practice where, okay, they'll integrate it, they'll merge it into a particular branch that's going to be deployed at the end of the sprint. But you can also have continuous delivery, where as you work on a branch and you write some new code and it's tested, it goes through the whole continuous integration process. And now when you merge it, it also does that deploy. You can also say now deploy it to production, which leads into continuous deployment. Because if you manually click the deploy button, you're not doing continuous deployment. You're almost doing continuous deployment. But to truly do continuous deployment, it's now that everything passes, it says, all right, cool. We don't even have to go and do anything manual. Just go ahead. Like when I'm writing my code on my computer, right? And I say, all right, I push this code up, and all these different tests pass, if they pass, like let's say we have a pull request to do a code review, right? But let's say that's approved and everything is done, and now it just kicks off the series of tests. It's going to do it's running our unit tests, it's running our API tests, it's running our UI tests, whatever other tests we can think of. If all those pass, it says, okay, cool. So this passed, now let's go to the next step. We're going to merge this into master and now, or into main, and then that passes. And now it's okay. Now we're able to, so we're merged, and now we say, okay, now let's deploy. So I don't even have to go and click a deploy button. It automatically does that. It's continuous deployment. Every time I push the code up and the pull request is approved, a battery of different events take place, and I shouldn't have to do anything else before I see the new features in production, right? Then we have infrastructure as code. That's the work that we do with Terraform. And there's some other tools that also handle the infrastructure as code, such as Packer, which we'll be looking into, which sets up like makes AMIs and stuff like that. Automated testing, that's going to be our, I would somewhat include a unit test inside of automated testing, but definitely it's going to be our functional tests, our automated API tests, our automated UI tests. We've done so much of that. We've used Playwright on this channel. We've used Cypress. We've used Selenium in a variety of different languages. So definitely automated test plays a very, very big role. Configuration management. So with configuration management, that's where you can, like, where you're storing your secrets and things like that to access, like, so your application can be able to start up. Whether using something like AWS Secrets or whatever Azure's version of that is. How do you store data? How do you pull the data? Things like that. Continuous monitoring. So once everything is in production, what tools do you have in place to alert you, for monitoring, for checking the logs, to say, hey, something doesn't seem right. What are you using, right? And then there's version control using Git, using Bitbucket. So there's Git. Most people use Git, right? But the tools online, you can look at a GitLab, you can have GitHub, you can have a Bitbucket, and there's many others out there as well. But you need some type of version control tool, and then collaboration and communication. Having effective communication is definitely part of the DevOps, so that everyone can know what's going on, and the collaboration, everyone working together to make the dream work. So what are some DevOps tools? So the version control tool, the main one is going to be Git at this point. There used to be SVN, there used to be Mercurial, but now it's really just Git, right? CI/CD tools, Jenkins, which we've went over. We're going to be working some more on the live stream on that. Circle CI, which I really want to try out. There's GitLab CI/CD. There's just GitHub as well, who has their GitHub Actions. So then there's infrastructure as code, with Terraform, AWS CloudFormation, which AWS CloudFormation is like a Terraform. I haven't used AWS CloudFormation yet, but we will. Configuration management tools like Ansible, Chef, Puppet. Containerization, we have Docker, which we're working right now on Sunday, so you definitely want to tune into that. There's Kubernetes, which we will be getting into very soon. Continuous monitoring, such as Prometheus, Nagos, Grafana. We've done some work on Grafana in the past during our cybersecurity weeks, but there's all these different tools to monitor, to make sure that the system is looking good. Then the collaboration tools, Slack, Microsoft Teams, Jira, those are communication tools that we're able to work together and things like that. And then security tools, there's Sync, and then there's Aqua Security. What is the DevOps culture? So collaboration and communication. DevOps culture emphasizes strong collaboration and open communication between development, operations, and other teams, breaking down silos and fostering a unified approach to software delivery. What are the shared responsibilities? In a DevOps culture, everyone involved in the software lifecycle shares responsibility for product success, promoting accountability and collective ownership of both the code and the infrastructure. We've kind of touched on that already, but I just wanted to highlight it again because this is probably the most important part in DevOps, is the collaboration, communication, and the shared responsibility. So you definitely want to make sure that you increase those skills of yours. Continuous learning and improvement. DevOps encourages a mindset of continuous learning, experimentation, and improvement, where teams regularly assess their process, learn from failures, and implement change to enhance efficiency and product quality. Automation and innovation. A key aspect of DevOps culture is the drive to automate repetitive tasks and innovate continuously, enabling teams to focus on more strategic work, reduce manual errors, and accelerate delivery of value to customers. So what are some of the benefits of DevOps, right? So we pretty much touched on all of these, but let's make it in a succinct list. So faster time to market. improve collaboration and communication, increase efficiency and productivity, higher quality and reliability, enhance customer satisfaction, scalability and flexibility, better security and compliance, reduce cost, faster recovery from failures. Those are the main benefits of DevOps. A lot of other ones as well, but these are definitely benefits of DevOps. So, that's why we try to promote it and we try to foster that environment. But as always, there can definitely be some challenges, and I'm going to share some considerations, and they're like equivalent to each other when dealing with DevOps. So there's always going to be a cultural resistance to everything. You can't even think for yourself nowadays, right? But the cultural resistance. So when people say, "Oh, I don't like it," they're like the whiners and stuff like that. So there's going to be a cultural transformation that needs to be taking place. It'll either be given to you, like it's going to be forced on you, or you're going to learn to work together and embrace it. I'd rather learn to work together to embrace it, because when people try to force you to do things, you really don't want to do it. So it's never going to stick the way that it should. As well, there's the skills gap, because there's some people, they don't know what they're doing. Majority of people, right? So you're gonna need some training and upskilling. I like everything that I've learned, it was just like through taking various courses. I mean, I already had a background, but taking specific courses on DevOps, on Docker, on Python, all those things is how I added to my arsenal. Tool train and integration is another challenge, right? So you just have to choose the right tools. You need to do your research. How are other people liking these tools? How do they work? Can it work for me? All right. So definitely want to do your research on different tools. Security concerns. So you just have to integrate security into your DevOps process. So you might end up doing DevSecOps, because that's how it integrates DevOps and security and security and operations. We had a very interesting video about that. Managing complexity. So there is these making sure that your infrastructure is scalable and it's flexible, as well as your code, and then balancing speed and quality, governance and risk. Governance and compliance is how you're going to balance that, because people want to go so fast, then they end up making so many mistakes and they end up building a trash software, in the words of Mitch. They end up building a trash software because they don't have any standards, any governance or compliance to it. So you definitely want to implement that. Another big issue is legacy systems, because these old systems, these geezers, they make life a living hell, right? So how do you combat that? It's just continuous feedback. One thing I learned is, if you encounter bad code and you have to go into it, leave it a little bit better than when you found it. And over time, the code is going to be amazing, all right? Then measurements and metrics, it's sometimes hard to gather or know what to gather. So monitoring and actually incident management, so you can always track what's going on, is what's going to help alleviate the measurements and the metrics. So what are some case studies for DevOps, right? So there's Amazon, who had transforming software delivery with DevOps. There's Etsy, achieving continuous deployment, and Netflix, scaling DevOps for global streaming. So let's talk about Amazon real quick. So the challenge was Amazon needed to scale its software development processes to handle a growing number of services and features while maintaining high availability and reliability. So what was the solution? Amazon adopted DevOps practices, including continuous deployment and automated testing and infrastructure as code. The company moved from a traditional monolithic architecture to a microservices architecture, allowing teams to work independently on different services. So what were some of the results that Amazon got? So Amazon reduced deployment time from hours to minutes. Yes, to minutes, enabling over 50 million deployments per year. That is a lot of deployments. 50 million deployments per year. The shift to DevOps allowed teams to experiment, innovate, and deliver new features faster, contributing to Amazon's continued growth and dominance in e-commerce. Improved system reliability and availability due to automated testing and monitoring. So it pretty much made everything better. What about Etsy? Do you guys know Etsy? So Etsy is an online marketplace It faced challenges in deploying code quickly while ensuring site stability and performance. Frequent releases were causing downtime and disrupting the user experience. What did Etsy do, right? So Etsy implemented continuous integration and continuous deployment (CI/CD) pipelines, enabling automated testing, integration, and deployment of code. They also adopted a culture of blameless post-mortem, very, very important, right? To encourage learning from failures and improving processes. So what did Etsy get out of this, right? So they achieved multiple deployments per day, significantly reducing the time to market for new features. The site's ability improved as automated tests caught bugs early, reducing the risk of failed deployments. The company fostered a culture of continuous improvement, allowing teams to experiment and innovate without fear of blame for failure. So awesome. Lastly, we have Netflix. So as Netflix expanded globally, it needed to scale its infrastructure and development process to support millions of users across different regions while ensuring uninterrupted streaming services. What was the solution, right? So Netflix adopted DevOps practices to leveraging cloud computing, microservices, and continuous delivery. The company developed internal tools like the Simian Army to test the resilience of its systems by intentionally causing failures. What were the results of these Netflix upgrades? So Netflix achieved near continuous delivery with thousands of code changes deployed daily across its services. The use of automated tests and chaos engineering improved system resilience, ensuring a high quality of streaming experience for users worldwide. Netflix's DevOps practices allowed it to scale rapidly and deliver content reliably to millions of users across the globe, solidifying its position as a leading streaming service. Right, so that brings us to the end of our presentation. Today we spoke about what is DevOps, why DevOps is important, what are the key principles of DevOps, what are the practices and tools used in DevOps, the culture around it, the benefits of using DevOps, the challenges and considerations that you can have at the back of your mind when you're getting into it. And then we reviewed some case studies and examples. All right, I'm going to go back to full screen. So let me know what you thought of this first presentation on DevOps. Was it too much? Was it too little? Was it just right? Are you Goldilocks? Was it just right? And let me know, drop me a comment, and I promise I will respond to you. Let me know if this was helpful, if you want me to do some more of them, if you want me to continue. I have a whole series of software explorations to do on DevOps, and we're going to go deeper into the different tools and syntaxes that it uses and the best practices to use and not use. So that is the goal of the channel. But this is it for today. I really thank you guys for tuning in. I need you to do me a huge favor. What is that huge favor? So for Tech Coach Drop, I need you to just click on the subscribe button. You can find it at the corner of the video, or you can find it on the regular page. But click on the subscribe button and share the video with a friend. Help us grow. Help us win. Because by you helping us grow, I have more people to interact with and knowing what it is, what is the sentiment, what are people trying to do, and produce content on that. So definitely subscribe to the channel. If you want some more content that is not on YouTube, such as the sprint reviews that my tech barbarians do, you can have the whole sprint review for free, definitely for free. Go over to techcoachdrop.dev and you can see all the videos that we're uploading there. I also upload the full Scrum Night video for our tiered members. You have to be on a tier. The full Scrum Night video where you can watch the video, you can ask questions in the comments, and I will have somebody who participated respond to you. Whoever you're asking the question to, I will have them respond to you. All right. So check that out. And if you need one-on-one coaching, you can also get it at techcoachdrop.dev. Sign up for a coaching tier and we can win together. We will run it up together. All right. But with that being said, I'm going to get out of here. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. I really appreciate you guys for watching and for rocking with me, all that you do. This is Tech Coach Ralph. We are out.